I'm not surprised by this. And even if you're a Democrat, you should be questioning this Clinton thing just generally because he was real buddy up with Kevin Spacey, who's another one that has a longer list than Jeffrey Epstein, actually, of allegations. And then he has the Monica Lewinsky story. He had quite a bit of stuff, and I never liked the guy. So, I mean, I read off him properly like about eons ago. And no, I did not vote for him. So lucky me. So what's happening here? Okay, so they're gonna actually subpoena them. It's the other people in the case too that I'm kind of like in the background because watch this. It's relevant to me and our stuff too because these were the people that were in power at the time of our stuff, of personally. And there's obviously, like, beyond this case, there was a lot of stuff going on within government. So them getting anything, even if they're just getting harassed, I really don't care. Like, to be honest. So at this point, because obviously they didn't take any of it seriously at the time of, so, no one did anything, and, it's not a big deal, so. Okay, so Bill Clinton and his wife are among high-profile figures to be sent legal summons from a congressional committee investigating the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. So Republican James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, issued the subpoenas to the Clintons and 8 other individuals. But who are the 8 other individuals? The committee is seeking information about Epstein's history after Trump administration decided against releasing more federal files on the dead financer. Okay, so the decision sparked outrage among Trump supporters and some Democrats who refused to accept the Justice Department statement that there was no incriminating client list. Yeah, they don't usually keep, like, I don't know, like, they made it into this other thing. I was like, that's not actually how any of this stuff is going on in the world, but okay. Amid a rift between Trump and some of his supporters, okay, the panel has subpoenaed the Justice Department itself for its records related to Epstein. And didn't they just talk to Maxwell? Maybe she gave some additional information. I don't know. But Epstein's associate, who is currently serving 20 for sex trafficking, was willing to testify before the committee. And okay, her scheduled 11th August deposition, though, has been postponed indefinitely. Okay, so I guess she did. I don't know what happened here. So the saga has spanned 2 decades, with Florida police and federal FBI first scrutinizing the well-connected tycoon in early 2000. Okay, so the depositions will start this month and run through autumn, with Bill Clinton scheduled for the 14th of October. Former attorneys general Merrick Garland, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder. I got stopped 3 times. It was horrible. The government's targeting me. Well, you're getting stopped a 4th time now, Eric. So, because your story was more important than the rest of us who are getting targeted by these government pieces of shit. And we need to know why that was going on. That's another thing. And why you would run over other groups of people, mostly other women. But it wouldn't have anything to do with covering up child rape or a drug ring or anything like that, would it? Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, and your buddies all became rich in the middle of this. And you guys just stood back and let gangbanger cops run amok. There was so much in this story that it was just kind of like the twisting, turning, pity me, sympathy for me, you just don't understand, yada, 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 and then they disregarded everybody. Okay, so they disregarded other victims. So we could listen to your story, but I got 3 times in a day. So I don't know what you're complaining about. I was like, really? It's something weird. So we had a thing with that. And then Alberto Gonzalez. Okay, so I don't know who that one is, but Jeff Sessions, William Barr, who both led the Justice Department during Trump's first term. But this one I love, former FBI James Comey, Robert Mueller, were also sent subpoenas. I'm really happy on the James Comey one because obviously whoever was in charge of the FBI, like since birth, like since I was born, is a piece of you know what, and hates women, and they would have no issue with this. And there was so much garbage going on up in there. So really, good luck, dude. Clinton's administration predates the Epstein investigation, but the couple critics have long questioned their relationship with Epstein. A spokesperson has acknowledged that Bill took 4 trips with staff on his private plane in 2002 and 3, and met with him in New York in 2002. And Clinton also visited his New York apartment around that time. Well, it would have been Clinton's, well, according to Kevin Spacey, okay? So, you know, what's the truth in the story? So he's claiming he doesn't really know them. So the only way that he would really get to know them, I guess, is through Clinton, his other pal. And then they take this random photo, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, but do you guys realize that all these same people in this universe are also included in the universe of Nygaard too, as well? Like these women, there's some women in the background here, and then they get included in other big stories too. But somehow they just kind of skate out of the story, and I'm not really clear as to why that's occurring either, because they're not even out here saying, hi, I'm a victim. And then the one, I believe, I was trying to remember this other story. I think that even the Vanilla Ice story, when I was talking about Vanilla Ice and the Corey and him like totally macked down. Yeah, but whose house was that? And then this universe of people, you know? So I was like, yeah, there's so much to it that if you don't do what I do, where I'm like researching all these cases, right? Like they pop up, I go through them, and then I talk about them, right? So I don't connect everything together yet. So it's kind of like I'm getting puzzle pieces. And then at some point you start to see this like bigger picture. You're like, oh yeah, this one was also in this story. This one was in this story. And then there's allegations over here. And then there's allegations over here. And then I've gone through thousands of photos. I mean, I don't even know how many. And it's like, I don't even get paid for this. I should do something else better with my time. No, I was like, no, I mean, but I was actually like sifting through, trying to separate like what I think visually from like, oh, these are just hanger-oners in Hollywood that want to show up at an event and be seen around, you know, some famous people. Because you have those groups of people, they're definitely in here. And there's just some people in here that I'm like, I know damn well. I mean, I'm almost certain that they're not like part of anything like this. They must just be over here. And then there's these same players, okay? These same people. Certain people that have a much closer connection with these individuals than everybody else, to the point where they're hanging out, calling when they come into town, going out, you know, and hanging out. So when they're hanging out, they would definitely see the conduct. It's just, this is part of the universe and it's totally fine. And some of these people, because even in the photo album that I accidentally got dropped with, I was like, it's not mine. I didn't have anything to do with it. Okay, but it actually was telling a story, though, too, that's actually coinciding with everything else going on here, such as certain people were friends with certain people in the early 90s, and they were hanging out, and, you know, it's just these connectors, right? And it's just part of a bigger story. Like, there's nothing, like, massively incriminating in any of these photos. It's just like the addition to the story. Oh, they were here and they're pals with this person and that person, and they were doing these things together, those things together. So that's all it was doing. So otherwise I would just throw it out to you guys. Look. I was like, and then they come after me for it. Um, but it was like, okay, all the same people. And then, and then you have the OJ thing too. And it was like, oh no, I think that a lot of people knew what a F up that OJ was. I mean, come on. I don't know, but just the full disregard to everything up in here is just terrible. And there's no good person. Everybody, as I always said, I go, everybody plays their part. It's either by they don't care and they say nothing, or they know something and they go and hide it. Or in most of these cases, they join in the conduct, and it may not be in the universe of Jeffrey, but that they do this conduct themselves. And so seeing him is just like, yeah, don't we all want to do this? Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what you're seeing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the end thing is going to be with this, because everybody in the story is guilty. Everybody in the story is guilty of something in the story. But also in the story, it wouldn't just be revolving around Jeffrey, like this universe of, I mean, it's not just Jeffrey, like it's all these other people. Like they act like everybody's like bowing down to Jeffrey. And I was like, that's literally not what happened. But, you know, it's just playing a narrative that we shouldn't be running with, because that's not the real universe here. We have a government that was promoting human trafficking since it became America. So you have all these men in, say, FBI, Homeland, wherever, all these agencies who were fine with this conduct completely and actually didn't use the term human trafficking. Mostly when I was trying to go at it originally in 2001. And I was like, well, they don't have a term for it, but none of this is consensual, and nobody came to their job to go do this shit as a, purposely of having this kind of conduct. But what would government say when you reported human trafficking then? And I think every woman knows, because they complain about not wanting to report stuff, is that they said, you asked for it, you wanted it, and you should expect it from us men, right? So they were promoting human trafficking and they didn't stop it. And so what does that do? That creates organized crime in a way that these people were making millions and millions of dollars doing this kind of crap, and then decided that not paying me is okay because I did not go and join up in this human trafficking ring. And and it's like tons of rings that they had this goal to become a multi-millionaire and have a human trafficking ring. They wanted a harem. They wanted to do all this crap. That was their dream. I don't know what this disconnect, it must be from that anxiety from, the congenital disorder thing, whatever. And I was like talking about it. I go, it's so crazy because it's like they forgot yesterday, like a drunk, like a drunk. So yeah, who was in charge? It was James Comey, right? And I'm the one that was actually going at James, and the Dems were having a problem with it. I go, oh, really? I don't know how, but we have all these problems going on, and these men that are in charge in these agencies are the guilty parties, and so they're the ones that would be fine with it, right? Because nobody got arrested, so the people in charge are the guilty parties, and they're the ones that would make up. They would literally make up, oh, we have no proof that any of this has happened. So, we look for credible fucking information. It's like, I was there. You literally have proof, and you could pull phone lines. You know what I mean? They could pull a lot of stuff. Government, oh yeah. And so they were starting to play these games, and it's like, no, that's government. That's 1000% government. And I'm just sick of dealing with them. So for them to get dicked around like this, I'm totally happy and fine with it. I mean, I don't care who does it. It's like they really deserve it because they dick me around. And so they can go have fun with this. I hope they enjoy themselves getting dicked around. I mean, honestly, I don't care. Even if they're totally innocent. I don't think anybody in here is innocent. I mean, I believe that everybody's guilty on a level for something. And what's typically happening in these cases is that nobody gets in trouble except for like one person, maybe, if that. And you're just looking at it going, but the government agency is the one that said it was okay. So how come all those people are not arrested? I mean, this is my personal opinion about it. It's like, well, you just participate in organized crime and the public is paying for it. So uh, I don't want to pay for organized crime. That's just it. Why should I, the victim, pay for you to go abuse me? You're supposed to be there to go after those people, right? No. So they turn around and abuse us, the victims of this crap. And then, this is what's going on. They want to throw them on the street. They want to make up shit. They want you to hate them like a typical narcissist. So that's their bullshit. They want to mute us down. They want to do all this shit. I would too if I was a guilty son of a, piece of crap. You know what I mean? But this is them. They show their true colors by their actions, and those actions are not from innocent people. Oh, the Department of Justice? Yeah, so I had to call the DOJ. So the DOJ is the idiots that are like, you know what, if we find it important enough, we'll give you cow. And it's like, I would think that you would think that massive police misconduct, gang member stuff, would be very serious. Like, don't you have a thing? And so then what do, right? Hey, ladies, beware. Some cops out here rape. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell this shit is, but that was the DOJ under Dems. It wasn't under Trump. It wasn't under any of that. It was way before that. And I was like, I can't even believe this is going on. I thought they were supposed to be there to go investigate these like massive things going on. Mostly in law enforcement. Like, hello. So this is 2014. They'd be acting like they just found out now about gangbanger cops. I was like, oh, this is stupid. Well, they're going to play the game of we didn't know because of the fact that the DOJ never called me back. And I kept trying. I sent them information, and then I called to follow up on that information, and then they did not follow up on doing any thing for that. And who was there? Wasn't it Eric Holder? I don't know what the hell was going on here. There was so much craziness with the Dems at this moment in time that it's like, okay, the truth of them came out like about, okay, so I started filing all that stuff and talking to all these agencies, and then you start finding out the truth from the aftermath, right? So then, I go, oh, I reported all this stuff, and the next thing you know, they throw me in a gutter. I'm like, this is absolutely outrageous conduct by the Dems. I mean, this is like legitimately their bullshit. And so I was like, oh, you just made it. I can't vote for your asses. What is this? But you wouldn't know it unless you went to them. Like, you wouldn't know it unless you had to go through this. It was like they were lying their asses off in public. They were faking it in public and pretending they were on your side. And in reality, they were just for their rich pals. And they were doing a bunch of evil, and they weren't against any of this conduct. And I was like, okay, well, I am totally pissed off. I was like, that's all I can say about it, because it was like I started finding out the truth from investigating stuff. And it doesn't sit well, man. I was like, these people are such piles of shit. And then Kamala's even admitting she's so out of touch. She's like, I'm gonna hang out with the public now instead of demanding for a vote. It's like, I was like, you guys don't know the ridiculousness of that woman. If you guys are that totally manipulated by that crap, I mean, I don't know what to say. I was like, that she just outright is like, I'm out of touch. I really need to actually hang out with the public to figure out, I want to connect. It's like, no, you're not connecting with nobody, and you never did. And it's like, why would you think that you didn't ever connected with the public, that you think the public's going to vote for you? I don't connect with the public. That would be like me right now going, I'm going to vote, and then they don't vote for me, and I'm like, oh, misogyny. I go, yeah, well, I mean, underlying it is really over here, but I'm not getting people fired up, right? I'm not like getting them, this is what I stand for, and I need to get them all on that same page and actually show that I care for them. She doesn't have a caring bone in her body with that crap. I'm trying to stop human trafficking. Oh, but the government's not involved in it. Okay, ladies, we're here to take your jobs. I don't know what the hell. It's just like cluster F.
And then she's like, oh, these homeless women, we need to throw them in jail. Because they're kids, I got some data. And the data in San Francisco said that all the murderers are dropouts. So therefore, if we find any mom and their kids aren't going to school, we're going to arrest them. And I'm just like, this has to be the dumbest thing I have read from anyone. And then Madonna, the mouthpiece, right? I was like, I have to pull her because she's one of the billionaires, and she's one of the one throwing bullshit in the pot. And so whatever things was, she is a very articulate, smart woman. I go, oh, your bar is extraordinarily low then. Extraordinarily low. And that was one thing about her that no one ever said, that she's smart. What they've said is she's really idiotic. And so even to do that, it's just like, no one's buying your bullshit. I don't know, you must have gave her a lot of money because you're the one with the money. And then start degrading people that didn't vote for her. We're the smart ones, so we didn't want this other thing either. But it would have been the same because we're suffering. What happened to me in 7 years? Nobody would let me move. It's like being in a prison. Now I'm still in a fight. Like, the fight isn't over. Now somebody doesn't want to give me my money because they're a criminal. But the county decided to give money to a criminal. Can you tell me how this happened? And then they don't even care about it. They don't even care that they gave money to a criminal and then made it where I had to stay with the criminal. And I'm sitting there trying to maneuver this thing because I know these people are really bad. They already got a raid. They already got these bullshit. And then now I'm seeing additional criminal conduct. And then the cop gang members are there too. And I'm like, well, I'm stuck in this thing where they won't let me leave. And I'm demanding it for like 7 years, okay? 7 years in a prison. It's like an outside prison system. And then when I leave, they owe me several grand. They technically owe me, just to let you guys know, they technically owe me 7 years of paying rent because nothing was legal. So I'm just sitting here like, nobody gives a shit, I was like, they don't care like what they just did here. I go, how did we end up here in this situation, completely annihilated, even through my business accounts, with them getting investigated? All these people that are in the media, like, there's a lot of people in here that they needed to be investigated, like their conduct, right? The background conduct in government. I go, why are you using an address that you know that a gang member, not a gang member, a drug dealer was using that's in tie with celebrities? Why did you do that? And why'd you come at me demanding money when you knew somebody else was the guilty party in the whole thing? And it was, and then it's like, what is this? But this is in LA County. Like, they deserve all the hell in the government here. Oh, filth city. That's why I don't care about their burnt houses up in freaking Palisades, because these people obtained what they have by being criminals. You don't get rewarded for being an honest, decent person out here. That literally we're showing you, okay? But they're trying to do everything they can to hate on me because they're the guilty parties and they're piles of shit. Let's just be honest, they're piles of shit. And the Dems are going to have a problem with this conduct right here. But I'm sitting here like, no, we were saying it even when we were voting for the Dems. When we were voting for the Dems, and then I'm in the middle of this investigation thing. And I'm like, oh, you know what? They don't actually really mean what they're saying, because when I'm calling, they're saying this in the background. They're not saying it in public. In public, they were saying a whole different thing. And I go, well, that's a little two-faced. So why are you, and I question them. I go, why are you saying this in the media? And they go, what do you mean? They're like, well, blah, 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 blah. Hee hee, ha, ha. And I'm like, I cannot deal with this. This is absolutely the most insane thing I would ever think that I would even run across in my life. To be that much, I'm like, that much difference from what's being said in the public to the reality of what was going on in the government. Like they were saying, they were telling us, oh, go and tell government this is going on. And then the minute I go, then it's Block City trashing me, targeting me, degrading me, making fun of victims, doing all this shit. And I'm just like, oh, wow. Well, that's not anybody taking anything seriously or even respecting our gender at all inside government. And this was every agency. It was not one agency and one jerk. Like if it was just that, then I would just complain on the one guy. It was not. It was like every day chronically. And then I keep going, do you understand, Attorney General, that there's gang members in the freaking LASD, you know, like in the law enforcement, both of them. And they're just like, yeah, but anyway, you need to still go at them. And it's just like, are you the stupid lady? It was a woman. They always have these dumb women on the phone because they don't give them a regular job. And it's like, I have to deal with that because they're just thrown on the phone and they're told to do what they're told to do, right? Throw people off. And so I was like, this is just idiotic. And then they don't know anything about anything, right? And so I'm trying to bypass that. And then I can't. And then we had another one sit there and be like, why are they doing this to you? I'm like, I don't know. Why do men rape? I have no idea. Why don't you tell me, Justice Department? They asked some of the most idiotic questions. They go, isn't that what an investigation is supposed to do? It's supposed to figure out what the MO is and everything and why people are doing these things. And so she purposely sends me to a dickwad. And the guy's like, we don't deal with murder. And I'm like, I don't even know who this is. I legit do not know who this agent is. You guys don't understand. I keep stressing it. I go, they're not nice on the phone. And those are the people in charge of this stuff right here. Everything you're seeing right now in the media about Jeffrey Epstein is going to be the same people I had to deal with because I'm calling about some very similar things. It's all things related, like related in the sense of organized crime stuff and child rape and some adults getting me here as a child. So you're dealing with this universe and celebrities in it and everything else. And they're off on here doing hard cover. What about that rape foundation? Like, what the hell? If you get told something, you should react to it and not the reaction that we got, which was absolutely nothing and ignore it and still have this crap going on. We still have people promoting these guys being with children on YouTube. And for some reason, the framing of this is supposed to be, oh, this is okay, but for this group of people, it's not. That's bullshit. And for any woman to be coming out here like trying to glorify some people with like freaking kids because you enjoyed it as a kid, you need to go to therapy, honey. I do not do that to me. We're not going to get along. You're the reason why it happened. How about that? You're the reason why that happened to me because you older women from the baby boomer era totally didn't report it. And did they really need to report it though? They didn't need to report it because it was in the media. So our story isn't even, oh, someone's lying. It's like it was there and they're sitting there trying to okay it. So how do you have this two thing going on? You fake outrage at being pissed off at this. But on the other hand, you're over here praising it for these other men? Make it make sense. But these are two different belief systems colliding. They have a term for that. So they have a term for that. So I guess their anxiety gets them to bully me. That's what I was saying. Their anxiety from that is one of two things that happens when that happens, right? You're holding two different beliefs. You either correct your bullshit or they turn into mega bullies because the anxiety of being guilty. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly the tail off to that thing because I don't know how they're even going on like this. It's pretty amazing. Like it's two different belief systems. Like they're acting fake outrage, but then they were promoting child marriages. They were like, these minor women did not get married and they were having sex and it was not sex. They were getting raped by adult men. And all kinds of things. I'm like, I don't know how they're going on like that. Let's make some TV shows about it. It's crazy. 16 and pregnant? It's like, dude, what is this shit? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much to it in the culture where it's like you promoted it like basically like the entire time. I don't know. You're not treating it like it's serious like it should have been treated seriously. And no, Diddy was not half innocent. I can't even believe that was even said of anybody. What they presented in the case was like literally not enough of what they should have went after him for. It was very limited. I could say that much. It's almost like people are just helping out. I don't even know. It's just everybody in the story is a criminal, and there's just no good people up in here. There just isn't. Nobody. Not even in the justice system. It was just like, can you explain on actually multiple cases here, like why you didn't bring this other thing up? Like in tons of them. That's one of them. I don't know, but it's just a shit show, you guys. It is. It really is. And I'm just tired. I'm tired because I'm totally suffering from their conduct, and that was the purpose of it all. And I'm still suffering from their conduct. And there's no payback from this bullshit. And it should have never happened. Like, nobody should be rewarded for being a pile of shit. Nobody should be rewarded for any of that. And nor should I be suffering because of their conduct. And even in this case, the victim suffered from the conduct and then she dies, right? Well, nobody looks at it like, well, that's actually a murder. I mean, technically, it's kind of like a, almost like a manslaughter type of thing, where your intention wasn't to kill somebody, but you technically ended up doing it in this sort of fashion because of your abuse. And then nobody pays for it. It's just one of these things. And then people want to turn around and, try to say that, oh, the whole time it means that she made something up. I was like, nobody made anything up in here.